Hello, everybody. Welcome to this new special episode of LightShare. I'm here with Andre and Dom,
Hey
and
guys.
we wanted to wish you Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday Season. We hope you guys are enjoying these days. And yeah, let's dive into this episode, which I think will be likely about some sort of a recap, I guess, of our trajectory and where we're moving with this. Andre's going to share some cool stuff he made here. There you go.
Yeah, just a video in the background so guys don't get super bored
Yeah.
Also
while
can
we
learn stuff
discuss
from the
future
master.
plans.
Yeah. But how was your guys' 2024 overall? What would you rate it? Good, bad, average, amazing?
I would say 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, in terms of art, maybe that's a 5. I don't think I did as much progress as I think I should have. Other areas of life improved quite a lot. So, like
It's always
social
good.
life, fitness life, family life, that kind of compensated for all of that. But definitely, like, the way that I see it is always unbalanced, right? So every time that you dedicate yourself a little bit more towards like a particular area of your life, you do end up leaving the others kind of lagging behind a little bit. So I don't think that there's a way for you to do 100% on every single aspect of your life, like forever. So even though I call it a 6 out of 10, I think that's a pretty decent kind of year. Nothing like extremely surprising happened. Considering the fact that the industry is kind of weird right now, I think that's also a good thing, right? The fact that we're still working, we're still like doing our thing here. LightShare is still growing, so with all of that in mind, right? I will not be maybe looking too badly on it. So
Nice.
Cool.
How about you, Adrian?
Bro, it was. Hold on. I don't know what happened. It was full screen before and then it removed it for some reason. Sorry. I just tapped into it again. My year was pretty crazy, bro. Very dynamic, I would say, because the way I started was like at full speed, full intensity, and in many ways, both with my physical endeavors, professional, project wise. Um, it was pretty much like a roller coaster. And halfway through, like this summer, for instance, I remember how I slowed down tremendously after that crazy adventure, right? And I decided to take it slowly. So I basically experienced both sides of the same coin. The work versus rest type of dynamics. And now I'd like to believe I'm somewhere in the middle. I mean, I don't know. I just ran a race last week. I'm entering another chapter of I don't know, like personal project developments and stuff like that. You got to keep track of everything at once. And like Andres says, you can't be at 100% with everything at the same time. So they kind of take turns. It will be professional work season at one time, and then it'll be personal project season at another, and so on and so forth. But overall, you can never say it was a bad year or whatever. Not at all. Quite the opposite. So yeah, lots of growth, lots of introspection as well, a lot of learning basically. So I'm grateful for both the ups and the downs because they all make this beautiful wave. So I guess we're still riding. So yeah, what about you, bro?
Yeah, I think I faced the same thing in the beginning. Like I went full force beginning of 2024. Hit a few milestones in the first couple months, and then I slowly tapered downwards a bit. And then I kind of thought about like my resting period, I guess, because I never really like took much of a break until
we never catch
the past
a break,
week.
bro. Yeah.
So yeah, last week I went on a trip to Florida, and that was kind of like a really needed mental reset for me. Something that I should probably take periodically, you know, because oftentimes I'm just like going full force and then not really like, you know, taking time to pause, reflect on my weaker areas, and then kind of recuperate that. So that was a good time to like process everything, have a little bit of fun, you know, catch up with some friends, family, especially during the holidays. You know, sometimes, yeah, we tend to neglect like our loved ones if we're like working too much. So we have to like keep in mind that as well, like family first before work and friends and all that stuff. So yeah, overall it was pretty good year for growth, I'd say. I think 2025 is a bit more optimistic, I feel. It's like a calm before the storm, you know, this sort of period right now. There's going to be a big storm, I feel,
Yeah.
next year.
You know, it's nice that you
It's a
say
huge shift.
it's nice that you said that we never truly rest.
Say something real quick.
I feel like it's
Testing one.
oh, hold on. I muted the video.
Sorry, the video had
it's fine.
no, I do.
I didn't know. There's audio from
It's
the
so
video.
funny, just because that happened. Funny thing,
Mhm.
during that video, I was recording one of our latest episodes, where Dom was explaining, I think, composition on that time. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's nice that you mentioned the rest kind of thing, because when we say, yeah, take a break and stuff like that, many people might believe that that means just do nothing absolutely, you know, actually
Just
quite
be
the
lazy.
opposite. Yes. Start poisoning yourself with unnecessary foods that do you no good, nutritionally speaking, make you feel worse, and just engage in activities that absolutely don't help you to rest. Quite the opposite, they get you even more tired. So it's quite important to mention that when we say rest, it just means you kind of run but slower. You know, it doesn't mean you completely stop.
Jog, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so is the nature of this path, I guess, you know, because the minute you stop entirely, it becomes pretty difficult to get back on track
Oh, yeah.
again. And that's pretty dangerous, because if you allow it to happen like that, you soon find yourself in this cage sort of thing where you can't even see a way out.
I think some people think it's really easy to get back on after taking maybe a 3-year hiatus, for example.
Holy.
Like, yeah, I can just, you know,
Yeah.
get back to where I started from.
At that point,
Like,
it's cold
it's-
as fuck, bro.
It's not bad.
It's been too long.
I got this. I still got the muscle memory. And then once they do it, they're like forgetting everything they learned.
It's great that you put it this
So-
way, because I can speak from experience now here with this. So after that huge period of never-ending climbing, right? Like I was headed straight to full 100% speed, like you said, and I did it. It caught me at a time where I was very active, and I ran those races and I did all those crazy things I never thought I could do. And work-wise, I also pulled off some miracles, and with deadlines, very tight schedules and everything. The story continues even after, but at a lower pace, right? And you sort of become very grateful for it, because you're like, some time to breathe finally, you know, it's fine. But soon enough, you find yourself craving that storm still. You're like, man, I wish some stuff like that happens again, because I really enjoyed the process of experiencing that struggle, you know? because it makes you stronger. It makes you grow. So after a while, for some reason, something happened on my foot, for instance, and I noticed that shit, like I have this race coming up, in December, and I gotta train. And not being able to do that, I mean, for about half the year, I didn't train like that anymore. And you can tell. I mean, you feel that lack sort of thing, like your potential, your performance decreases and everything. Andre, you tell us how it is. Like if you don't lift for like a week or 2 weeks, I felt it. I see it like not only like a feeling based thing, but I saw it like my heart rate was different, my endurance was different, just in about a couple of weeks. It's insane how fast it goes away, which is quite conflicting according to something that I found out recently about how it takes a very long time to build up and it takes a very long time to lose it. And I'm like, I think it takes a very long time to build up
kind of.
and a very little time to lose it. Like that's how it feels like.
I'm not sure, about the cardio aspect. That's not something that I've been looking into too much. But in terms of like your muscles, what happens is that once you get it, it's easier for you to get it back again. But 2 weeks, it's enough for you to start noticing, like in terms of if you study it and you actually like do some tests, 2 weeks is enough for you to start losing muscle. So it doesn't mean that you lose everything right away. It just means that, okay, now we can actually say that you actually lost some muscle. So maybe in cardio that can be a bit quicker. I'm not so sure, but
But it makes sense, right? Because there's no reason for your body or your mind to stay at that level because there's not enough of that push you're giving to it, not enough
yeah,
struggle, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, right?
and it's also like you need to remind that your body is not on the business of keeping muscle mass, right? It's in the
Yeah.
business of like living efficiently. So unless you need that muscle for something, why would he keep like it's a high energy cost kind of mass to have, right?
Yeah.
Unlike maybe that's
I
why it's
think
easier maybe to store fat.
stimulus is the word I was looking for. If you don't stimulate it, then it doesn't have a reason to stay the way it is. So it starts reverting back to the way it was. And by the way, we're talking sports and stuff here, but the same goes for any other craft like art or whatever else, you know? And think of it as a boulder you're pushing up the mountain, right? The moment you stop pushing it, if you release it, you leave it unattended, it starts falling back down. So it requires this constant push on your end, and it's pretty hard to push it uphill. And that's where the nature of practice sits on. Like it's just a constant thing. Like a plant, you got to water every single day. It's not like you do it once kind of thing and then you forget about it and it grows on its own, right? No, you have to nurture it consistently.
Yeah, consistency is a thing people forget. Just with any other area of life, right? Like your art, you have to nurture it consistently, practice every day. Same with your muscles. You have to eat protein, work out to maintain the muscle mass. So, yeah, it's with all things.
Yeah, I think it's that thing, right? Like, it's fine to take breaks every now and then, but you need to remind yourself of what that's costing. So, in an ideal world, the way that you would take breaks is to optimize your progress. Like, there is this idea in fitness of rest days and back off periods and that sort of thing, because you kind of take your stress level to a certain point and then you pull it back a little bit so your body can kind of recover from that and handle more stress later on. So it's kind of like a wave thing. Same with like bulking and cutting and everything else. You don't do it on a straight line ascending. You kind of like do peaks and valleys.
Yeah, and
And I think that's the same
Yeah.
thing for everything.
for
right?
the
So-
people who are into video games and stuff, especially shooters and stuff, you guys know how the minigun kind of weapon like heats up. So if you don't allow it to kind of cool down, it locks up and you can't keep firing it, right? So think about yourself as that minigun machine and or that machine gun or whatever it is, and how if you don't allow yourself to rest and cool down after a period of high stress, then you won't be able to continue. So by mastering the art of dancing in between these two states of work and rest, you learn how to keep going at a continuous pace. So there's no trick to it. That's all that is. It's learning how to master your own pace. And that's only done by practice, actively engaging in the practice of finding out what's your process like. So experience helps a lot with that. And experience is, again, only learned with practice. So you got to do it no matter what.
In pain and suffering.
That'll be the stress part,
the friction.
the work part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You gotta have a little bit of resistance
Yeah.
in your life to see the change. 'Cause, if you're just on this
Yeah.
smooth path, like it's not gonna happen.
Also, there's this concept that I like very much, which is the so again a workout analogy because that's what I like. But there's this idea of what is a valid repetition in a sense. So like when you are doing a workout, you have like set amount of reps that you need to do, and in order for them to count as a valid
Quality,
one,
right? The form.
yeah, and quality includes like you are actually putting in some effort because you see, so the way that a proper workout kind of works, like you have your warm-ups and then you're kind of like raising the weights up to your working set, which is like the set that will actually count. And what you see a lot of people doing is like they put a lot of effort into the initial sets and they kind of get tired on those. And then when it comes to the working set, which is the one that will actually make you grow, they don't have a lot of energy left. So the idea is not only that you need to be like putting effort in, you need to be mindful of where your efforts are being put at so that you are only putting effort in things that will actually bring you something back, give you a return on that effort. So one thing that so I've been getting some like starting to get into the education route and getting some students like mentorships and that sort of thing, kind of ramping up to the course that I'll do here in Brazil next year. So one of the things that I'm trying to put into my students' minds is that mindless practice is actually worse than just like not doing anything, because you are kind of burning your batteries in a sense. You're okay, I'm spending time on my computer, but the results are not coming in. So instead of motivating yourself, you're kind of staying in the same place, not improving. Not like you think that you're putting in the work and you don't see the results, but that's because the work that you're putting in is not like a valid repetition, you're not like going at it with a particular goal or being mindful of what you're doing. You're just doodling and thinking that that's what drawing more kind of means. But in reality, I think unless the goal is to be like, oh, this will be a free sketch session, like for me to relax, and then you focus on actually relaxing, that's fine. But I see people trying to like get the best of both worlds, like, oh, I'll sketch because that's what I have to do, but I'll also not think too hard about it because I don't want to stress out. And then you don't get any of those, like you don't get better because you're not doing anything different than you were doing before. You're not pushing yourself. You're not like trying to think differently. You're not looking for reference or looking different concepts or learning about the word or whatever it is that would make your drawings better. But you are like thinking that you're practicing. So at the end of the day, it's almost as if like, oh, I went to the gym and I like did one set of bicycle curls with, I don't know, 5 pounds, and then I go back home thinking I did something, and in reality, your body just thought that was a bad taste joke, you know. So
Yeah. You know, that's a tricky question right there because I do agree with you. And I've also seen how sometimes that leads to actually getting you motivated to do something else. So you show up, you don't know what to do. You do like that set of bicep curls that you mentioned, and soon enough you feel yourself compelled enough to keep going and let me pick up some heavier ones and see what I can do now. And then you get in the mood, like same story when you sit down and doodle some nonsense. You have no purpose in mind for that session in particular. You go like, yeah, I don't even know what to draw, bro. I don't know. And then by doodling, you find some shapes. It's like clouds seeing, or how do you? I don't even know what that if that has a name. But when you look at a cloud, right, you tend to see some shapes and you recognize some forms that resemble things like a sword or a dragon or whatever, and that fires up something in your brain that makes you go creative in that very moment, and things start happening. You start having ideas. So that is one of the the cheat codes, I guess, that you can apply if you find yourself in this situation where you don't know what to do. I don't have any ideas. I don't know what to draw. So just, draw a bunch of lines. Nonsense. It doesn't matter. It's going to last for 5-10 minutes maybe, and then you'll start seeing some stuff. I shouldn't have said numbers because people tend to take them quite seriously and literally. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. I still don't see anything. Adrian was lying. Oh, bro, like just go at it for a while and you'll see. And it almost makes me think of how a very valid question would be, what about bicycle riding? You don't forget about that, and you can always pick it up and you still remember, no matter how many years have passed. Yeah, that's not what we're saying. I'm not saying you forget about those things, referring to what we were talking about earlier about how if you stop for a long time, you lose your abilities or whatever. Sure, you can get it back anytime, but it just doesn't feel the same. If you've been, for instance, running for a year or two, you experience that growth and you notice how you're performing at a different level now. Same story with 3D sculpting or painting or whatever it is. And then you stop for a year and you pick it up again after one full year. You're going to notice how rusty you feel in the beginning. You may have seen a lot of artists say this in their posts online and stuff. Feeling a bit rusty with anatomy lately. I decided to pick it up again, and that's fine. I mean, you literally can't be rusty, right? It's just an expression. It's just the way it feels like, I can barely move. I can barely paint now. I forgot how to do it. But soon enough, you pick up some steam and you realize how you still got this. You still know how to do it. How could you forget, right? It took you so long to get here that it's not going to get away magically like that. But it's important for you to keep doing it because that's what's going to sustain this long-term adventure in which you learn how to perfect your craft.
I think the longer you do something, I don't think you can really forget it that easily.
Exactly.
So if you've been doing art for 15 plus years, I don't think you can forget it as easily in a few weeks or something.
Deep roots now at this point.
Unless you've only been doing it for like a year or 2 years, then yeah, you might forget a lot of the stuff you've learned because it hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I think if you actually learned it, like the concepts, and you're not just kind of imitating, because you can become a pretty good copy of someone else. You can do one particular process without understanding the key concepts behind it and the key fundamentals behind it. If you are that kind of person, you will probably lose those aspects pretty quickly. But if you truly learn it and if you truly know what you're doing,
that's
I
why
don't think you can lose it quite.
It's really
quite
cool when it
easily.
comes from what you've learned, from what you've discovered on your own. Those creations that really genuinely come from you, they tend to stay longer because you're aware of the process that it took you to get there. Whereas if, like you mentioned, you're copying someone else, you're not really aware of the what went through their mind when they were creating that. This is what we usually talk about when copying other people's work, just for learning purposes. It's fine, but when you learn the most, we feel like it's when you break down your own process, be it, um, consciously or subconsciously. Because I believe teaching is such an art. Like it's a world in and of itself. Not everyone is entirely aware of how. Think of a boxer. It's just second nature to move around in the ring and just dodge and then throw a punch, and it's just the way it is. It feels so natural to him. But if you ask him, how do you do this? And if he's never taught before, he's going to be like, what do you mean? I don't know. It's like speaking a language. Teach me how to speak Spanish, how to speak English, how to speak any other language. It doesn't matter. Like, what do you want me to say, bro? Like, I haven't even thought about it. To you, it's just second nature. You just speak, you just do it. Same story goes with this, with art, painting. It's like, how can I improve my composition? I don't know, bro. Like, you just see the shapes and, you combine things together.
Go outside.
But then if
Go
you think
explore.
about it,
Just
it
get
really,
good.
yeah, you kind of track back all your steps. You analyze your own process and you realize there's so much going on in your mind. It's just like when you're driving a car, and speaking with someone at the same time while also paying attention to the road and to the other vehicles surrounding you. That's what that feels like. You don't even notice all the what's the name of this? Like the subtle movements and gestures you do when shifting into another gear and twisting the wheel a little bit, and then the pedals, stepping on the gas versus brakes. It's like a whole bunch of combinations going on. This muscle memory is what we're after. This is what you want to build. And that's what practice gives you. The longer you do it, like Dom said, the longer they tend to stay. You don't just forget about them after a week or a year, So, yeah, I obviously just encourage everyone to keep going after whatever they want to pursue.
Yeah. I guess we can segue into our plans for 2025 and where we kind of want to take LightShare and our own personal plans. But specifically for LightShare, I think we have like a lot of new stuff that's coming soon for you guys, like in terms of learning content. I think, as you guys have seen, we've been producing a lot of LightShare Academy videos recently. So we want to emphasize more stuff on that and try to bring more knowledge to you guys. So yeah, we can kind of discuss our plans for, I guess, the next couple months.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a big part of what we are trying to do. The same way that we try to incentivize you guys to do quality stuff. The idea for us to provide value in terms of educational content, I think like it's one of the contents that you guys respond pretty well to, and instead of just talking about like what we do, kind of showing the way that we think, I think is a pretty big part of actually providing value. So we do have a couple of different series. I know I did a couple of videos. Dom is doing like some more right now as well. We do have some ideas in line for what Adrian will cover. The idea is always to cover fundamentals, as funny as it may seem, because people are too keen on like a lot of even the video here
The
showing
flashy
like some
stuff.
3D modeling, right? But the idea is that all that matters is the fundamentals, and then the tools that you use are kind of up to your preferences. So
yeah, I mean, there's like hundreds of tutorials you can learn Kit Bash 3D from. So we kind of want to go more to the bare bone basics of just that groundwork, the brutal stuff that people often want to skip, but is necessary. Like people don't think it's necessary, but later down the line, they see their work kind of suffers later on because they skipped all that foundation. because they see what's on ArtStation and all the pretty pictures and stuff, and they get kind of deceived that if I jump into 3D right away, maybe I can be awesome like them without actually knowing the basics.
Because I can save time, right? It's faster.
This is what the industry is, right? It's what they need.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can get the shitty result a lot faster.
you can be a carbon copy like everyone else, because everyone else
Yeah,
is
but
doing that.
also like the thing is, I think 2024 was a year where like the three of us got super busy in terms of commercial work, and
Yeah.
like this the speed in which we were producing videos kind of slowed down a little bit. That's something that we are trying to like make more consistent. Doing things like a lot more intuitively instead of overthinking stuff, I think will help with that. So
Definitely.
Yeah, I found this more raw type of content, this format, I mean, to be working way better with our current schedules and stuff, which is it doesn't necessarily mean it's faster, but it's way less taxing on our own times, on our own time to do, because you don't have to edit everything for like hours and hours on end in order to get like a okay result, Instead, we're focusing more on the message and what we're delivering to you guys, all the value we want to put out there. And I guess that leads us to be able to record more and maximize our output, I would say.
True.
yeah, at the end of the day is that thing, right? Like, what is the end goal of your video? Is it to have like a super well edited and highly commercial, super successful in social media kind of video, or is it to provide the value that you think your key concepts offer? And then like
Yeah.
us just talking, I think is 90% of what we actually provide as value. So there's no point in, especially when we don't have enough time, there's no point in spending a lot of time like creating those super nicely cut videos with little like figures and stickers and effects and the subtitles and that like sort of TikTok mentality video
Yeah.
I
that is
guess
out
what we're
there.
saying is,
We tried
we're just trying to be. Yeah, I think this makes it more relatable to you guys as the audience, because we're not trying to be flashy or anything like that. We're just normal guys, wanting to make cool stuff, make art, and just send this message in a very like not basic kind of way, but like I don't know how you guys would describe it. Just
I would call it an honest
like
way.
there. Like yeah,
We're
like
not
it's
not
selling
trying-
course. We're not like
We're not trying to be relatable or anything like that. We're just speaking our minds. This is how it is, and we're putting it at we're putting it raw out there as it is, like Dom said. That's basically it. And I guess what it feels like right now is that we're focusing more on the current audience, and it seems to me at least that we stopped caring about like this giant expansion and trying to cater to a wider audience, and because that's what leads you down this track where you're trying to please everyone and end up pleasing nobody, and that's a big loss to take for you as a creator.
and eventually
So
they turn their
focus.
backs on you. So
Yeah, exactly. Focus on the message, on what you want to share and say, and just say it. It's that simple.
be authentic.
That's how we just turn on the camera, record some stuff, and put it out there for you guys. And yeah, and we're seeing how people tend to like more this type of content as compared to whatever we were putting before, especially the LightShare Academy. That's always been a series of our type of content that has been quite appealing to people, and I don't blame it. Dom makes those flashy things. Andrea shares those flashy art pieces as well. And hopefully I can get to share some stuff for you guys as well. If you guys have any ideas about what you would like to see from me, let us know in the comments. We're still discussing at an internal level, but we will eventually come up with something and put it out there for you guys to enjoy. And yeah, this everything we do here is obviously always for free, and we hope you guys are enjoying it. Because I don't know for how much longer that's gonna stay for free. No, I'm just kidding.
well,
We have no plans for that yet, but yeah, we might eventually come up with something, some higher tier that, you know, if you want to dive even deeper into this kind of stuff, there's some options we could offer. But right now, like where we are right now, you guys correct me, but this feels quite cool. This is a nice step that
I
we're
like
at.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I do like the idea of just giving it back, because I don't know about you guys, right? But since I've learned kind of on my own, the art stuff that I like, the little art stuff that I know right now.
you know how they feel
So
like, right? So
yeah,
you're like, hey,
and it's also
here's
cool
a
to
hand,
like
you know?
put some content out there that I couldn't find when I was learning. You know?
Exactly.
So like
Yeah,
that's
that too.
a major driver for me.
That's also it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
obviously, we don't want to give like everything away, but like most things that are pretty fundamental to learn, I think we say it in
yeah.
the videos.
So our villain arc begins, basically.
Yeah, from now on we're just chasing money. So if you don't like it,
Yeah. Let's clarify that, because I feel like what we just said might make people
oof,
kind of feel like,
just took a weight out of my chest now, man. I feel so much lighter
hold on.
now that I.
Have you guys seen the last episode from those guys from LightShare? They just said they're going to charge for everything they do now. No, man. We didn't say that.
Yeah.
But
Well, we hope to keep building this audience, you know, because we're seeing a steady growth of people coming in. It was like 2.54K like several weeks ago. Now it's 2.59. So it means it's still growing very slowly.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's cool to see that we're finally on the search engine now.
Oh,
Finally got our page back.
hey, there's this thing that Dom has been saying for a few weeks now, that we might be shadow banned or something. Like, you know, we don't show up in the search results. And this might be a direct correlation with the, you know, the type of things we've been saying lately.
Sorry,
in
I've
the last
been
episode.
with...
It's all Dom's
You're just
fault,
too
okay?
paranoid, Tom.
It's Dom's fault. He wanted to say those things.
Yeah.
I told him not to, but he insisted.
I was a little off filter there on some of the
It was totally not me.
episodes.
Okay?
Yeah, me and Andre, we kind of went a little based, but yeah.
You can never
Nah,
go
I'm
too
kidding.
base, dude. No, but yeah, I think the like what definitely happened is that we had a drop off in terms of consistency of us posting videos.
Yeah.
There was, it's never one kind of reason why things happen. So in my mind, it's kind of like two things. We were working a lot, and we kind of raised the bar in the end of last year, beginning of this year, for what we wanted as content. So we were posting like stories and shorts and all of those things, and content was very well calculated. Like we had lists of subjects that we wanted to cover and all of that. And it's good in a sense because it makes everything like a lot more well planned, but at the same time it kind of gives you a slower reaction time. So like one of the things that happened that I found pretty cool this year is that we are actually responding to comments in videos. So like if someone posts a comment that is pertinent and that we think we can cover and it will be an interesting discussion, like we just do that right away. Like we don't wait too much time or like never respond because we have other videos lined up or that sort of thing, you know. It just makes you quicker on your feet, and I feel like the community responds well to that, because one of the things that I don't like, that I particularly don't like about super well edited content, is that you kind of don't know if that's current or not. Like it's one of the things that I like about live streaming. I do watch a couple of guys that do live streams unrelated to art stuff. Some are like video game industry, some background noise for when you're painting and that sort of stuff. And what is cool about live streaming is that you are for sure knowing that that's current. Like the guy is actually there doing the live stream right now. That's his current position on that current subject. It might change later, and it's a lot lower like stakes, because you're just kind of talking out of your mind. Like, oh, this is what I'm blurting out right now. My opinion might change like in a month or two, and
Yeah.
I feel like you don't get that when you are editing a video. Let's say that we record a video today, and then a month from now it's being posted. Our thoughts might have changed, our opinions might have changed. Like, I don't know if that's still what you think. Maybe some new technology came out that will change your opinion. Like, what do you think about that? And it makes you kind of, it's easier for you to be wrong in that sense, and it's easier for people to misinterpret what you're saying, because they can take like the context that existed when you record it, and let's say that when you post there's a new context on that particular subject matter. I just think, in my mind, for the kind of stuff that we do, it's a win-win to make this more spontaneous. And we're what we do is very akin to live stream, because like the only difference is that it's not being like broadcasted live, because we pretty much just record and post. But I think we get the benefit of that world as well, where this is what we think right now as of like December 2024.
Yeah.
Might come
Yeah.
January and we don't have the same opinions.
I mean,
and like the world might have changed.
I've been trying to push the live stream thing for quite a while now. I remember this from a couple of years ago, and we tried it actually. We tried live streaming for a couple of times. The episodes are stored on a different tab on our channel. And
The live tab.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we might come back to that for the mere purpose of efficiency. Like, you don't even have to record a file, take space on your computer. It just goes live. It stays online. So that's cool. Also, it's way more forgiving for the reasons Andre mentioned. Like, it's just on the fly, like we're literally recording as we go and sharing all of this. So that doesn't mean that you don't have a script, or you can't follow like some bullet points that you've created previously to cover a different range of subject matter and topics. But it's enjoyable for also the other aspect, which is the live comments that you might get during the episode, which we might try again at some point. And yeah, that should provide everyone with a more genuine connection, which is what we're after, and being able to engage with our audience directly. So you guys can ask us anything live, and we can reply, and it should be cool. Like, if we come back to the way we're positioning ourselves back again on the search results with LightShare, because the other LightShare was gaining some field on us. Who knows? Maybe we can even come up and morph into a better name or something. I'm just throwing this out there, but yeah, rebranding? What is that about? No, I don't know. I'm just saying,
Dark share.
I remember
But I think like
this joke from a few years ago, and I think we should do it. We should definitely create another channel that's called Dark Share, and it's totally the opposite of this one. Guys, you can't make it ever into this industry. It's very dark out there. Don't even try. We can be so pessimistic about everything on that channel.
what is the point of trying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We will fail. No, I think one of the things that you mentioned right now that kind of grabbed me is the like making genuine connections. I think that's one of the biggest points here. We know that the followers that we have, like, it's not just a number. Like, we know some people by name. We like talk between ourselves of how people are progressing, or what they've been posting on the Discord channel.
That's the
We
thing.
want that kind
I
of
think
connection.
the Discord community helps a lot to engage and narrow down these connections
definitely.
too.
Yeah, and also like we see you guys as human beings. You're not just like, oh, it's one random follower that like,
Yeah.
yeah, look at this sucker posting on our Discord. Like, that's not at all how we think about things. The cool thing about doing this sort of video or doing educational content is seeing people actually taking advantage of those and like taking action on the advice that we give and seeing the results. So I think that's what we are after, you know. It's extremely rewarding to see people following your advice and like getting opportunities and like improving in life. Not only in art, you know, like sometimes you
Yeah.
hear people like, oh, I started like doing exercise and my life's now better and I can like work more because of that, because I'm feeling like lighter and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
That's what our channel's about. It's not just the art aspect, it's life too, developing yourself, your mind, body, spirit, all this stuff, you know, because not many art channels really talk about the person side of things. You know, they might talk about it a little bit, but it's not heavily emphasized about like you should, you know, not sleep late or you should not eat junk food because that
Exactly.
affects your mind and your ability to work and draw, and it's not really like emphasized. So that's why we want to talk about it more and explain to you guys why it's so important for these things.
I guess that's how, you know, you can talk also about, okay, like you teach how to paint landscapes and stuff, but which brushes should I use, or which program, or which, you know, it goes down to these detail oriented questions. And I think the same goes for how to sustain that sort of practice for a long time, right? Like, how can I paint for years, right? Well, this is how you take care of yourself. You got to mind your diet, you got to mind your sleep, you got to engage in this sort of productive activities and seek out for, you know, groups you can relate with, and you guys partner up and make some collaborations, design something together, or I don't know, but just feed yourself with the right food, both body and mind, because that actually does make a huge impact on your lifetime of productivity, I guess, or your journey.
Yeah, it's longevity in the
Longevity,
field,
yeah.
right?
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, by just being able to sustain this long term and learning how to actually do that by, you know, just testing sleep times, sleep moments, everything you said, Dom, like that's what this is about. Different types of practices and how they help you, instead of um, making you feel better in the moment and then taking a huge toll on your health.
Yeah, because we were all there before, you know, like mentally not
Yeah.
sustainable.
It doesn't matter what I eat. It doesn't matter when I sleep. It doesn't matter. And then soon enough, you feel tired and not really motivated. I can't keep going on. I'm burning out, bro. I can't keep doing this. Soon enough, you feel you get to that place, and it's not a nice thing. So in order to prevent you from getting there, I feel like we can share a bunch of tips that is really going to help. So, but you also have to be the one walking through that door. We can only point it for you, but you're the one who eventually has to walk that path. So, yeah, this is a very nice spaceship that we're seeing here in the background, bro. Well, I'm not sure if it's a spaceship or like a land vehicle, water vehicle.
Yeah, I can talk a little
Spaceship.
bit about what this was. So I have this partnership with a local Brazilian school that I'll be like releasing a course on next year, and we were doing a live stream, actually talking about design as a lifestyle, which kind of covers what we do here on LightShare. It's a more holistic approach of life in general. So the idea was to talk about how you can design yourself a life that you enjoy. And as a demo for that, I needed to like do a spaceship drawing because, of course,
This is the Andre Mobile.
and I kind of wanted to do something inspired by those, you know, those speedboats, kind of like racers. I wanted to mix that with the like pod racing, you know, like big engines and that sort of thing. Like right now we are kind of approaching the end of the modeling. Like I'm starting to do some shading and stuff. But the like if you guys paid attention to the video, I was all the time thinking about proportions and like lines of design, like flow and how one shape would flow into the next one, and how they would balance themselves. All of those like big, medium, and small that we talk about. I think I locked in the top view of this ship maybe like 200 times throughout the video because I wanted to double check if, does this make sense?
The
Like from top
silhouette.
view.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it look cool? Does it like, is it conveying the kind of design that I want to convey? And by the end of it, it's just like you guys can find the final result on my Instagram. And I think I even posted the like sketching over video. But the idea was just to have a blockout mesh that would allow me to like do some nice line art on top of it. And I started by the pilot position, like the usual, just blocking out some 3D stuff. If you happen to be a Brazilian, I will be doing a workshop in Portuguese in January. So like you can check my Instagram for that. That will cover the entire process. Like I will actually do it live. But the idea is that the same process that I use for September, I was using it here. And I particularly like this shader that I'm showing you right now, which is a mix of a cell shaded visual with some aspects of like physically based renderer that kind of gives it those like harsh shadows, but also some gradients inside of it. And
Nice.
but the like key important part for me was like the flow of the ship,
It flows very well. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah,
it.
like the side view, it kind of
The
looks
Boo
fast
Starfighter.
as
It's
fuck,
wavy, classy, and I don't know. Feels
Yeah,
good,
and I really like the flat top part of those boats, like and I think I was able to capture it decently well here. Of course, that we can always improve on things, but keeping in mind that, as I said before, like you need to have a goal for what you're doing. Like my goal here was to capture that super, almost as if like it's bouncing on the water, kind of like pointing up a little bit, but it's a spaceship instead of a speedboat. But yeah, that was
Nice.
the idea there.
Oh, this was so cool. The way it looks
That's
now.
because I wanted
That's sick.
to mix. So I wanted it to look as if it had like a sky reflection without actually like making a super blue sky.
Hmm.
So I was mixing some shader there. There's some like Blender shenanigans there that I like to play with. We can do a LightShare Academy episode on that if you guys want to. Like, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
How I think about those shaders and that sort of stuff. But
Nice.
grabbing
Cool.
those nice reflections,
I keep thinking of that
And-
word, shenanigans. Where does that even come from, bro? I don't know. It doesn't sound
where
like
I
English,
learned it
right?
from, I think it is. I learned it from watching League of Legends videos.
Hmm.
So
It reminds me
American
of
slang.
really,
shuriken or something like that, you know?
It
it's
just
kind
means
of like,
nonsense.
yeah.
Yeah. Or
Right, doing
whatever.
things on like a janky way, that sort of stuff.
Hmm. I thought it meant like some hidden stuff, shady things in the background, something you can't really see at first sight, but it's there. So yeah, bro, this looks amazing. Congrats for the great model, and thank you for sharing the process of it as well. I think we're coming to the end of this episode.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you guys
Please
can
let
go
us
to
know,
it.
guys. Yeah, any suggestions you have for future videos, any LightShare labs or LightShare Academy. I'd love to do it. So, yeah.
That being said, just enjoy this holiday season. Happy
Happy New Year.
holidays. Happy New Year. Happy everything. Happy painting, sketching,
Yeah, let's make 2025 epic, guys.
modeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep
Beast it
going.
out.
Keep going. Join our server on Discord. Link below. And yeah, we hope to see you in the next episode. Take care, guys.
See you guys.
Bye bye.
Ciao.